You're watching The Week Ahead on the very first day of this trading week. I'm joined by Jarratt Davis from Smile Global Management. So Jarratt, let's begin with the US. Now, what sort of trading trends are you expecting to see with the US dollar, and what events do you think will actually have an impact on its performance?
Well, this week we're looking for a volatile few days because it's basically bearish at the moment on the US dollar. And that's purely because of the Fed. And there's obviously talk of tapering. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And if it is going to happen, when is it going to happen? Now, the problem with this is a lot of traders think that if it's a taper, it's positive for the dollar. And if it's not a taper, then it's negative for the dollar. Or it's the other way around, more like. Now, the problem with that is that's not the case, basically. A lot of people think it's not quite so clear-cut. The problem is not the markets don't know. So when it keeps changing, so you keep having different variations of what's going to happen. So one week you'll have rumours coming out saying it's going to taper, then the next week it'll be it's not taper, and it's the uncertainty, basically not knowing, that causes the volatility in the markets. And at the moment we're going through that same kind of uncertainty with the government shutdown and the different things that keep happening. It's the uncertainty that's causing the volatility. Now at the moment we're very bearish on the dollar because last week Janet Yellen, who's obviously going to be the next Fed chairman, or chairperson, she made it quite clear that it's purely data dependent on any decision about tapering or not. So basically, because the data has been kind of weak since the shutdown, there's a bit of confusion. Does that mean that the data is weak, or does it mean it's just because of the shutdown? So again, this uncertainty is coming back, and this is what's causing the volatility on the US dollar. So basically, what we're going to be looking at is we're really focused on the data at the moment coming out of the US, and Wednesday is the first real big day for data. Because we have inflation and retail sales out. So that's what we're really going to be watching this week on the US dollar.
And moving over to Asia, Bank of Japan rate decision is on Thursday. So what are you expecting to see from this?
Well, at the moment on that one, it's kind of been a little bit quiet over the last couple of weeks because I think everything's been kind of focused on the US. But just lately, towards the end of last week, the BOJ kind of started talking the yen down again. The reason they kind of felt the need to do that was because over the last few weeks, traders have kind of been fleeing to the yen as a safe haven. So that's kind of pushed the dollar yen as a pair, that kind of pushed it back down towards 97, 9600. Now, last week they said, basically, I think it was Amari, the finance minister, said that the Bank of Japan are ready to do whatever it takes to send a strong message to the market, kind of convince the market that they are prepared to follow, their stimulus packages through. And that obviously basically told the market that, whatever happens, however strong the yen gets, the Bank of Japan are there to kind of implement their measures to kind of push it the other way. And we saw that reaction to that in the dollar yen. It pushed it back above 100 for the first time in a few weeks. So basically, in terms of Asia, we're looking for the Bank of Japan to keep making little announcements. When they've got their policy minutes coming out that you mentioned this week, we're going to be looking for kind of stronger language, if that makes sense, kind of looking for the language to kind of be strengthened up a little bit, to kind of be a little bit more dovish on the yen. And we're also looking out for this week. They're expected to announce some extra stimulus measures that they're going to introduce in the first half of 2014, possibly, which of course could cause another round of sell-offs on the yen as well. So those two things, we're looking for the tone of their language and coming up in meeting minutes, and we're also looking for any extra measures that they could possibly be implementing next year to increase the stimulus that they've already got going on. So that's what we're looking for in terms of Asia at the moment.
And now let's have a look at the Eurozone. Now we have German data coming out this week. Are you expecting bad news?
Obviously we've got the view, but we've got a little bit of manufacturing data on Thursday. We've got some business sentiment figures coming out on Friday. The main thing everyone's watching at the moment, though, as far as we're concerned, are comments from key central bank members, because I think there's been a lot of market kind of speculation about whether the interest rate cuts they did it a week or two ago were enough. Was it a unanimous decision? How's the board feeling about the whole thing? Are they kind of turning more towards an easing bias of something like the US and Japan, or are they kind of sticking to their guns and not going down that road? That's what everyone's watching. And I think now everyone's watching the data. So the two key things we're looking out for this week are ongoing comments from central bank members and, of course, data. And we're looking for negative data because the negative data will support the view that the ECB need to do more in order to kind of get growth going again in the EU. So they're the two things, the main things that we're looking for from the Eurozone at the moment.
Jarratt, thank you very much. Well, viewers, do stay tuned for more economic and financial updates. See you soon.